Should we just like jump into frame?
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, here we go. Welcome to episode 2 of the Whiskey Buds. I'm Kurt.
I'm Billy.
This is Billy. And
We're
are
professionals.
Yeah, something. And we are on the hunt for a whiskey that he actually likes. So we're going to have fun exploring at least.
Yeah, we just filmed our first video right before this one, so you should go check that out. So hopefully this tasting isn't going to be quite as bad as the last one.
Yeah, I thought the last one was good tasting. I mean, maybe
well,
our responses weren't very good, but
it's fire in a bottle.
and we are actually a little looser. That helps.
Yeah, so I'm warmed up a little bit. So less fire this time.
All right, so this time on it,
What do you say?
yeah. We are going to go with a quintessential beginner whiskey, something that probably everyone has tried. And it's just a good all-around go-to whiskey anytime you want to drink whiskey. And it's just a staple to always have on the shelf. And, of course, if you haven't already guessed it, we're talking about Jameson.
I don't think I've ever had that.
Really?
Well, I don't know. Somebody might have handed it to me before, but I've never, no.
All right, well, if you've been anywhere where anybody's drinking, chances are you've had Jameson. It's made in Ireland, of course.
I've heard of it.
I hope so.
I have heard of it.
It's at Middleton Distillery. It is the world's, the best-selling Irish whiskey worldwide. So this is sold more than any other Irish whiskey worldwide.
So
it's very popular.
Where's whiskey from? Is it?
It depends on who you ask and what nation they're from. The Scots will say they're the first ones to invent it, but the Irish will say they're the first ones to invent it. It's safe to say it's somewhere from over there.
Okay.
So, but I'm not going to dispute either one because they make some good whiskey. This is a blended Irish whiskey, which means it is partially pot stilled and partially column stilled, which is kind of interesting. Column still, maybe I'll have a picture of one somewhere. I don't know. We'll see how good I am at editing. Anyways, pot still is a big giant pot. It's like what you see in most of these pictures of. No, I don't have one there. Of stills. Column still.
Oh, like one of them copper?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
And they are very happy about their copper. Most Irish distillers, or at least in Jameson, they seem to really enjoy their copper and believe it does actually help the flavor in what you're getting with it, that it does actually impact the flavor. There's a few disputes about it from people who like to use stainless steel stills, but if you're going to use copper, I don't care. It still tastes good. Column still it's going to come up, but instead of basically immediately out into your condenser to condense your whiskey or your mash, as it distills. It'll condense out, and you'll get your liquor out of the other end, your spirits. And they will, pot stills are pretty much just the pot, and then you're going to come out to the condenser. Column still is going to run up several feet. I've seen them in a few distilleries as high as 25 feet, where they have to actually, I seen one in, I can't remember what distillery it was, but down in Colorado. Now I'm trying to think of what the name was. I'm sorry. Anyways, I think it might have been Leopold Brothers. They actually have a separate room for the column still, and they needed to add a extra section to the roof to accommodate the height of the still. And so then what happens is the whiskey as it distills, it hits the plates and condenses a little bit, and it'll drop back down, and it'll recondense as it's falling, or re-evaporate, I guess.
Right.
And then it'll go through and keeps coming up, and each time it does, it is creating a higher proof. So this is a combination. It's a blend of both column and pot stilled whiskeys. So later on, we have some green spot to try in one of the later episodes that is 100% pot stilled.
Speaking of green, why is this bottle green?
Green, I don't know. My assumption is that UV light does affect the alcohol, so it's probably something to help protect the alcohol in there from UV light. It's where usually beer bottles are darker.
Okay. Well,
But
our
that's-
last episode
That's an ultimate guess.
we had the clear,
Yeah.
and then you had the stuff you made
Yeah.
in oak barrel. But this you can't like. It looks
Yeah, you can't tell.
like a dirty green.
Yeah. Yeah, the bottle is
So-
covering it up. So let's give you a proper... I should have probably poured it, and then you could have been sniffing it while we were...
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So that's lighter
than what it was before.
than the stuff we had last time.
And so for being an Irish whiskey, it has to be aged minimum of 3 years. And they say this goes beyond that, and estimates at like 5 to 7 years.
So how do you hold this? Present it.
I don't know. I just present it. So
That's got a lot of sniffing flavor.
sense,
Is that whatever it's called. Sniffing, yeah.
yeah, sniffing flavor,
Sniffing flavor.
sniffing flavors. There you go. What are you picking?
Apple.
Apple. All right.
Does that have apple
Anything
in it?
else? No. It's there's no apple in it, but you're gonna get like flavors and scents and hints of stuff in these different whiskeys. And they're not all going to, they don't contain anything other than just the whiskey. They, well, I mean, we could.
So if I'm smelling like old apples,
Mm-hmm.
does that mean you broke my nose on the last episode
No.
with the moonshine?
No, that means you're smelling
With the
old
sipping
apples. That means that another scent that you had of old apples is a scent that you're picking up in here.
It does smell pretty good.
This one is going to be, it's only 40% versus the 50% of the last one.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be sipping. I have heard, I had a friend try it one time where he felt that it was not like enough flavor, and he tasted a lot of the ethanol.
That's what I call fire.
Yeah. So give it a sip.
I don't know how to drink whiskey yet. I don't know what
Right.
goes on. It's just
So did you get anything
it
from
makes
that
my
one?
face malfunction.
Yeah.
That's no, I wasn't even paying attention. It just burned.
Is
We
that's
try it
it?
again.
Yeah.
And I was trying not to drink too much because the last
Yeah.
time I drank a little too much,
Mhm.
and
You want enough that
me.
it'll pretty much, at least for me, I try to get just enough to like coat your mouth
okay.
to try to get the flavor out
You
of
don't
it.
you don't mouthwash with it.
No. No, it's supposed to be a shot that's sipped on, not drank right away.
Well, that doesn't taste like apples. No.
Did you get less burn in that one
Yeah.
for having just a smaller one? I think if you get too much burn in your taste, maybe you're drinking a little too much.
Well, let's try it. No, I drank that fast and it just went down. That's probably bad.
I
to do,
think that's
not
the
do that.
definition of smooth. I drank a big amount and it just went down. I don't know what happened.
Just down the chute.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know. It kind of has a weird aftertaste, I think.
Okay. Kind of like funky, musty, what? What's it remind you of?
I don't think I've ever drank anything like that before.
No? All right. Well, we're certainly going to
There's
test
some
that.
definite. There's some new flavors in there.
Yeah. You're with me. I was hoping that you would do much better at being able to pick out flavors because you can smell so much better than I can.
I know, but I
And I was like, all right, this is going to be good because I can just sit here and show the whiskeys, and then you can actually give us tasting notes. But it's
well, I
not
can
working
taste them,
very
but I
well.
have no idea what they are. I smelled it, and I'm like, oh, that's apples. And I tasted it, and I'm like, you
It's
dummy,
not apples.
There's no apples in there.
You lied.
This is not working with this. All right, so what do other people say it tastes like?
I hear shortbread is either in the nose or in the taste.
Shortbread.
Yeah, floral note,
Okay, when you say a floral note, what does that mean?
flowers just in general.
Like just smelling a flower?
Yeah, or going to a field and smelling flowers, that sort of thing.
Okay.
caramel.
Like flowers on fire, though.
Well, maybe you're getting a bit of that ethanol, but
I'll get over that.
yeah. Well, we'll work on that after about a dozen
Of course, like
episodes.
you just keep talking about fire all the time.
Yeah.
Just,
Well, we'll get him a barrel proof one of these days, and then we'll come back to these 40%ers, and he'll be like, "Oh, this is nice."
this is really interesting.
Why is that? Like, what's?
I don't know. It's new.
So it's what's interesting is it is like they're aged in a similar manner, right? At least with the oak barrel, but the other one, of course, had a different mash bill. But now you're getting like,
Well, you don't get these flavors from other foods or drink, right?
no,
It's like this.
like
Is,
yeah, this is really kind of an interesting thing that when you taste, like when you smell an apple, you taste an apple, like you get the payoff of what you smell. This one, you might smell an apple, but then you won't taste one. But in some whiskeys, you actually will, where you'd be like, yeah, I get a hint of apple, I get a hint of cinnamon, or something along those lines.
well, I'm definitely tasting things. I just have no idea what they are.
All right, well, we're just gonna have to keep working on it.
So, like, what's this made out of? Like,
Malted barley and unmalted barley.
well, I've never eaten barley, so I wouldn't.
Yeah. Well, it's it's like a cereal grain is what it is. What's interesting is that Scotch has to have malted barley. That's what they mean by 100% or not 100%. Bear with me.
Take two.
Yeah. All right. So when they say single malt Scotch, that means 100% malted barley from a single distillery, right? When they say blended Scotch, that can be from multiple distilleries, and it can either have 100% malted barley or it could be grain spirits also, which this has both barley, malted barley, unmalted, and it has maize, which is essentially just a corn. And that's in the column still that they used the grain spirit. They use the maize.
They just stirred up the. I don't know. Should I put it in a blender or anything, right?
No, they just put it in the barrels and then blend it together to create the flavor profile. So that way, when you go buy a bottle of Jameson, it'll taste like this bottle of Jameson.
Okay, one of you out there had that same question. Probably just one.
Yeah, because you're the only one watching.
All right. Well, I'm kind of upset. I can't identify any flavors.
That's all right. We'll keep working on it, and maybe you will.
Well, it's very flavorful.
And are you picking out like multiple flavors, or are you picking out like one predominant flavor?
I don't know. Let's try it again.
Yeah, you got plenty to try.
It's-
No?
It does seem to. It's not the same experience. Like when you first drink it, it's the more ethanol you say,
Yep.
and then
More burn. You can say whatever you like.
more burn,
More fire.
and then it cools off, and then it mellows out, and then I don't know. Maybe you taste different parts of it, but I still don't know
yeah.
what they are.
All right. Yeah. Now, as you're getting into this more, is it burning less?
Well, I'm trying to focus less on the burn and more on the flavors.
Okay, that's good. So you're not noticing the burn quite so much.
Yeah, so like the last episode with the
Sip and hooch.
Sip and hooch. Yeah, the first drink I'm just like, yeah, that's just pure. That's like an alcohol swab. Could have just.
Yeah.
Am I getting a shot or something? A shot. Haha. All right, I meant like a.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
The alcohol's affecting us.
So this is a very popular one.
Yes, very and you can see why. It's easy to drink.
Just because it's mild, or what?
I think a lot of the reason is because it's mild. You can put it in a drink. One of my favorites is this on ice with ginger ale and a squeeze of lime.
Oh,
That's really good.
so you don't have to just drink whiskey straight to be a whiskey fan.
Nope. You drink it the way you want to drink it. And the
Well, I
stuff
know,
you
but
want to
then
drink.
there's like these whiskey drinkers that be like,
Yeah. It's the same thing with motorcycles, right? What do you ride? Yamaha. Oh, well, you're not a real rider then because you don't have a Harley.
Right. Yeah, what kind of whiskey do you like? Oh, I like it with ginger. Nah, get out of my face.
Yeah. Although I will say that I have had my snob moment, because that's a whiskey snob, when somebody says, "Oh, I like whiskey," and I say, "Oh, what kind?" They're like, now the name escapes me. Canadian whiskey.
Crown,
You all,
Crown.
yeah, you say even he knows it. Crown Royal.
I've
They're
had
like,
Crown
"Oh, I like
Royal."
Crown Royal." I'm like, all right, yeah, that is whiskey. So, but you can go cheaper, and in my opinion, move up in flavor and go with Jameson.
Like Black Velvet?
Yeah, you can keep that at your house.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know about Crown Royal, Black Velvet.
What else?
There's this one that does like a Big Hunter, Canadian Big Hunter or something. Real cheap whiskey, I think. I drank a whole bunch of it one night. Real bad
Lord
night.
Calvert? Canadian
No,
Lord Calvert?
I've had that a long time. I had that a long time ago. I remember it making you drunk.
Yeah, it's what it's for.
Yep.
I mean, I will have to say, going up from Crown from that stuff is a big improvement.
Oh, that's better than Crown?
At least, no, Crown is
Crown's
better
better than that?
than Lord Calvert, yeah. Or
Oh.
Black Velvet.
Oh, okay.
Unless you prefer those two over Crown. I mean,
Yeah,
you're welcome to
you
try
drink what you like.
Yeah. That just leaves more of the stuff I like for me. and I won't touch yours. Well, what do you think? Is that one better than the moonshine that I aged myself?
Oh, I did that wrong. The fire went through my nostrils. The backside.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is that like a reverse
No,
snort?
so this one isn't. I don't know. The last one, the one you made was
Yep.
like almost creamier,
Okay.
smoother. Is that the same kind of term?
It can be.
So it seems smoother. This is a little bit not as smooth, but it's got a little bit more flavor.
Okay.
Which is weird because it's lighter colored.
Yeah, the darkness of it does not necessarily affect the amount of strength of flavor.
Oh.
We'll figure that out when we get into the Islay whiskeys, which he has actually had a small sample of Lefroy quite a few years ago, but I doubt he even remembers what that tastes like. So
it's not like more oak juice the better.
no.
Okay.
No, not necessarily. Even though, like Lefroy, the stuff we'll have is 10 years old, where this stuff is probably 5 to 7 years. This is around 5 to 7 years old, and this is going to be 10, but it won't be any darker, really. And that other stuff was only 3 months. But this is predominantly barley, which means you're going to have different flavors from that last one, which is predominantly corn. So,
Well, that makes sense because corn's probably a blander grain, right?
not necessarily.
Well, like vodka's, that's potatoes or something.
Vodka can be made out of whatever they want, and that's the one that they distill above 160 to strip out as many of the flavors as they can, so that you get vodka. I was told this, and I think it's true, is just there to make something else alcoholic. That's it. Like you're like, this would taste really good. You got a pina colada they use. Well, I use rum in that. I bet that'd probably be the better way to go. But they use vodka to make something alcoholic.
So, what's the best? Are we done with this episode? Or are we doing?
Pretty much, we're just chatting. So stick around if you want to see no good info. I don't know.
You bored out your mind.
Yeah, if it's 3 a.m. and you're just watching YouTube, this is probably for you.
Okay, so
Yes.
temperature.
Temperature.
Do you
Temperature at
just-
which you drink it at?
Do you just always drink at room temperature, or should you chill it, or drink it cold, or
It's all up to you.
how does that affect the flavor?
It will affect the flavor mostly because of your taste buds. So when you chill a whiskey, it will the cold liquid will hit your taste buds, and your taste buds won't be able to pick out as many of the flavors.
So it's more flavorful when it's room temperature.
Yes, but that might not be a good thing, because there might be a predominant flavor in there, or a flavor that you don't care for, that chilling it mutes. And so it allows you to then taste the other flavors. And then also...
Oh, whiskey burp.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
Putting ice in it will chill it and then also dilute it, which can be a good thing. Because sometimes you want the combination of the two.
So that's not a big deal because it already has like a lot of water in it. Right?
Yeah. I would say you probably want a decent water, like a bottled water, reverse osmosis, some sort of filtered water, because tap water will usually have like minerals in it, which can affect the flavor. Then again, maybe you have some weird municipal water that when you add it to your favorite bourbon, it just magically wakes it up. I don't know. That's the fun thing, is you get to experiment with it.
My tap water's dirtier than my whiskey.
So, and then you can also, what is it? They got the whiskey stones to chill it. You can also just add the water to it.
Still not going down.
No?
Real easy, but...
All right, well, next episode we're going to have some fun, and we're going to try a bourbon. So if you want to see him struggle with a bourbon, or maybe really enjoy it, I don't know.
I like bourbon barbecue sauce.
Yeah?
Yeah. So I'm excited about that.
We'll see what you think of it when it's still got the alcohol in it.
Yeah.
All right, well, until next episode, we'll catch y'all later. Cheers.
My glasses are empty.
Yeah, well, we'll change that next
Thanks for
episode.
watching.